Hey guys, I just got back from watching Captain African America and the Brave New World, Captain DEI Hire, and I want to give you my thoughts and review this movie. I'm going to get into it and I'm going to briefly just cover everything with no spoilers, and then I think I'm just going to dive right into the spoilers and give you my honest take. Before I get into that though, if you could please hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when my new videos drop. I talk about movies, TV shows, gaming, anime, and all kinds of pop culture stuff. And I try to upload 3, 4, or 5 times a week. So it really helps me out. Making a YouTube account is free and subscribing is free. Really appreciate it. So let's hop into the movie. Where do I start? Ooh. Mr. Sam Wilson here, Brave New World. This movie, I would say, it sucked. I mean, what can I say? It sucked. At best, it was mid. It was mid. It's not the worst thing in the world, so it's not as bad as, say, Captain Marvel. Certainly not as bad as the Eternals. By the way, I guess I won't say too much of anything about that yet, but there's some Eternals, lingering from that film stuff going on into this one. But it's very mid. It's not as bad as I thought it would be after hearing all the reshoots and hearing all the different stuff that came out, and just the whole premise of it all, of the Mr. DEI Captain America, and no one really wants Sam as Captain America, and just all the bullcrap that, and coming off the heels of the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, it is just, man, I mean, what can I say? I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck. But, to be honest with you, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was mid at best. The action in it, well, the story is the most important thing. The storyline is the worst part about it all. It's very flat. It feels like it's trying to be more grown up than it is. It feels like it's trying to be the first Avenger or the second one. What's the second one called? I'm blanking on the name. The second Captain America movie. Winter Soldier. It feels like it's trying to be that, but it just really falls flat. Basically, throughout the plot, what you get is you get a lot of just real basic stuff. Like, you always knew where the plot was going. Everything just felt very kind of dull. It wasn't very exciting the way a thriller might be. It wasn't, super engaging. And it was just kind of like, bland's the only word I can think of. The villain was very bland. The movie has a couple of villains in it, and he was just this really cookie-cutter kind of Saturday morning cartoon, and some of his motivation made sense, but then some of the way he executed his plan, and then just the way the movie ended. The third act, it has several acts, 1, 2, and 3, but the way the movie ended in the third act, it was just like, really? That's what they're going to go? And we all know from the trailer that it's the Red Hulk and stuff, but the Red Hulk isn't really the villain. There's a villain behind the scenes pulling the strings. And so, yeah, man, it was very flat, very boring. Then when it comes to the motivation, remember, how I talked about how the story's the main part, and it's all about these characters. Even if the villain was flat, that could still work, because it worked throughout the first 10 years of the MCU, and those first 10 years, most of those villains were kind of crappy, until we started getting up to the bigger ones, and Loki was good, but then we get up to Thanos and stuff, and it's like, wow, okay. But most of the villains were kind of afterthoughts, but they really did good diving into the character of the hero, and it worked. No one cares about Sam. He's an afterthought in this movie, and for the love of God, count the number of times they refer to him as Captain America. It's like they're just shoving it down your throat. This is Captain America! You must accept it! I mean, they just say it constantly throughout the movie. It's just never ending. Ugh. And he never feels like Captain America. He never... his whole motivation of who he is just feels like scrambled eggs. It's like, who are you? What are you doing? The idea of the serum comes up in this, and no spoilers yet, but that was one of the main things I was thinking. I was like, how are they going to reconcile this and him not having powers? Stupid. Nothing makes sense. There's no good motivations for why he does anything. It really feels like he's a dog on a leash, and everyone just now accepts that he's Captain America. None of the acting was horrible. His partner, I actually kind of liked. His partner is this Falcon guy. This guy right here, you can see it, right? And this is the new Falcon. I didn't bother to learn any of their names, but he's the new Falcon. Some people thought he was kind of annoying. I actually kind of liked his character. He reminded me a lot of Peter Parker. He has Peter Parker vibes. The MCU Peter Parker. He's kind of this dorky, quirky young guy, and he's spitting out jokes, but he was likable. I didn't mind him at all. He was fairly likable. Sam, not so much. There were a lot of weird things throughout the movie when it came to Sam's character. Like, for example, remember whenever Steve Rogers would go on a mission, and he was pretty serious, like he acted like a soldier. Sam never acts like a soldier in this movie. He doesn't act like he was in the army. He's grinning a lot and smiling, and they try to do the Marvel humor with the quippy jokes, but they even fail at that. And, you know, a lot of times you'll see the Marvel humor, and it's inappropriate, right? Like, it's overblown. It's not overblown in this movie at all. There's not a lot of quippy Marvel humor. But when it does show, it doesn't even make sense. It's just kind of like, it doesn't feel very organic. So there's that. But I did like the sidekick. The action in the movie, wasn't a fan. The stuff with the Red Hulk wasn't bad. Some of the ideas was ridiculous on what Sam is able to do. And so, again, you know, without any spoilers, basically overall, this movie doesn't know what to do with him when it comes to even the combat. So his character's the main thing. It doesn't know what to do with him with his character. And then the combat. The combat is like, there are moments where his suit is insane. It's like God tier, like way overpowered, and he's able to do insane amounts of stuff. And then in other moments, you know, he's completely getting his butt kicked. And it's like, wait, what's the trade-off here? What are we doing? And it's the same when he doesn't have the suit. There are times when he's doing stuff and it's like, how are you losing this fight? How did that happen? You're just a person. How are you able to do this? Like, he does have superpowers, but he doesn't. And then there are other times where he gets whooped and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But so there's this weird back and forth. It's like there's no consistency when it comes to his power level. And that goes with the suit too. And the suit's insane. It's got all this Wakanda bullcrap. And so there's that. The other characters, there's this one character. Well, there's this black chick here. She is the assistant of the president. And she's okay. I mean, she's in it oddly, like a weird, more than I thought. I don't even know who this chick is, but she's like the assistant of the president, but she's really good friends with Sam. I don't know if he ever even says her name, but she's in it quite a lot, quite a decent amount of screen presence. I mean, not too much, but, you know, it got to the point where it's like, I'm thinking, does she have a bigger part in this or what? This is the star, though. This one right here. This girl is the star. What's her name? I don't even know. This 4'5" girl, and I'm telling you, she is really tiny. She's like a child. She's like a 4'5" girl, and I don't know if she has a speech impediment or if she has an accent, but it makes her sound. It makes her sound like some kind of, I don't know, kids show host, like. I don't know. Well, she goes full girl boss in this movie. I'm talking about beating the heck out of guys like Black Widow would be impressed. So there's plenty of cringe in the movie. She's clearly the star. There are times, like, do you remember that scene in, it was the second Iron Man movie, and Black Widow kind of, you know, sheds her cloak of mystique because we don't really know who she is at first, but then she goes in to the building with Happy, and she starts kicking the butt of all those guys, and Happy can only handle one, and she's hot, and she's like doing all this stuff, and it was believable. It's like, well, in real life that wouldn't happen, but still, you felt it. It's like, yeah, okay, this is actually kind of cool. And that was before the whole MCU kind of stuff. Well, she This girl right here tries to do the same thing. There is never a moment on screen where I believed anything she was doing. Everything she was saying, she was trying to act all tough. She starts off and well, I don't want to get into spoilers yet, but basically she's hilarious whenever you see her on screen, and she's like fighting and stuff. It's just like, what? So that was great. And then we have this guy. This is all from the trailers, no spoilers. This guy, Mr. Breaking Bad guy, he's fine. I mean, he's a good actor. No issues there. I think we're going to get into spoiler territory if we go any farther. So, overall, my thoughts of the film, I thought it sucked. I mean, it's not worth the ticket price. It's not worth the money at all. I don't think, I mean, if you don't have anything else to do and you want to see DEI hire Captain America, you can go check it out. I'm pretty sure that the Rotten Tomatoes score is still, after everyone checking it out, it's hovering in the 50s. And whenever you look at the other scores from Captain America 1, 2, and 3, it's like all 90s across the board. This movie, it's a joke, man. I mean, what do you want me to say? It was always going to be that. It's just tokenized. Everyone knew Bucky should take the shield. Bucky had the character arc. Bucky had the redemption arc. Bucky has the superpowers. Bucky was Cap's best friend. Bucky had used the shield before. Bucky came from, grew up with Cap. It was supposed to be him. The only reason they gave it to Sam is because it was around the time period where it was really trendy to call every single thing in the country racist, and the whole country's racist. Let's point to this one instance in the comics where everyone hated it then, I guess, and let's just do that. And it doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. He doesn't feel like Captain America. By the way, there's no awesome speech in this movie. And the other movies, there are moments where Steve Rogers, will do something, and you're watching it and you're seeing it, and it's like, that's Captain America. And the first movie, it's when he's like, he jumps on the grenade. It's like, you know who he is. It's like, I'm the guy who's going to protect the others. And then the guy is sitting down, the doctor guy, and, he asks him, he's like, what do you want to kill Nazis? And Steve is sitting there, scrawny, pissant, and he's like, sir, I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies. And then he sacrifices himself at the end. Like, that's amazing. And then, in The Winter Soldier, I replay the clip sometimes, it's so good. But in The Winter Soldier, he goes in that room, Sam is with him, and he addresses all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And he says, attention all S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been compromised. It's been taken over by Hydra. And, Alexander Pierce is their leader. I don't know who else is, the Strike and Insight crew. But you've heard a lot about me over the last several days. They shot Nick Fury. And they're doing this and they're doing that. And basically, I know that I'm asking you to stop them, because they're going to launch these helicopter thingamajiggies, and it's going to kill a lot of people. And he says, listen, I know what I'm asking's a lot. The price for freedom is high. And, it always has been. And maybe I'm the only one who's willing to do it, but I bet I'm not. And I just remember watching that, just like, oh, yeah, man, I'm like proud to be an American. Like, it's Cap. Or that line, excuse me, that line from Avengers Infinity War, when Vision's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so that Thanos doesn't get the stone. And Captain America's like, we don't trade lives. That's not what we do. That's like Cap. Like, he is the speech giver. He's the motivator. Falcon, Captain African American, excuse me, Falcon, he's not that at all. He doesn't inspire. Once again, in this movie, by the way, he's sympathizing with the bad guys. If you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he's like, he's such an idiot. Got Freckle Jesus blowing up people and killing them, just a monster. And he's like, let's not call her a terrorist. Let's stop that. That's bad. And they're like, you need to do better. He doesn't get any smarter in this movie. And there are bad guys trying to kill him. And there are several times in the movie where he's just like, hey, stop, please. It's like he just doesn't act like a soldier. He doesn't act like a leader. It sucks. So it's bland, it's boring. The combat was so just like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but then there was a lot of it was like, wow, that's CGI, that doesn't work. And then his suit is just all over the place of what's going on. It just feels like a prop, like he was going through the movie. He has no identity. He doesn't make me want to root for him. No one wants him as Captain America. It's like, this sucks. The Red Hulk stuff was fine. Why he ended up turning into the Red Hulk, I'll get to that. I thought that was stupid. But, you know, just very bland. Not worth the ticket price. And anyways, so overall, I thought the movie blew. I thought it sucked. But that's going to be my overall review. I just don't see this going forward. I just don't think it's good. Man, there were just some stupid parts, dude. Especially with Little Miss Pisshand. I just can't get past it. Is it woke? You know, I feel like it was on the verge of being woke. You know what I think? I think that they did make it woke. I think that they made it woke, and what they were going to do was going to really pull off the whole, like, Trump is evil, because you get these feelings when Harrison Ford is on the screen and some of the stuff he does and says, and I'm just kind of listening, and I'm thinking to myself, are they trying to go after Trump? But it's not on the nose. Like, it's real subtle. I think they moved stuff back in the reshoots. I think they originally made this to be very preachy, very race heavy, very Trump bad. And as the culture has so radically shifted, they have just backed up and tried to shift things around. You can tell there's reshoots, and the whole story, it's not super cohesive. But because of that, it's like, man, I'm not sure if it is woke. There's this female empowerment, strong woman, ridiculous, but it's so retarded and funny. So there's that. Is there race stuff in it? I don't remember any race stuff. You know, you got the guy who's training the old Captain America, but they forgot about him and locked him up because he was black, and he's like 10 times stronger than Captain America, but he's the original captain. He's the original super soldier. He's in it, and his whole plot line's kind of stupid, but I don't know if I'd call it woke. It's just a bad movie. I don't think it's worth the watch. I don't think it's really super entertaining, and it's certainly not worth buying or checking out, you know, paying for it in any kind of way. The characters aren't relatable at all. None of them is, you really don't feel. The only person I felt anything was from the sidekick, and that was just a little bit. Like, I kind of liked his personality, but I'm not rooting for Sam, and I'm not rooting for him by the end of the movie. So that's gonna be my review. It blew. I think I'm gonna make a separate video and just go over the spoilers, but that's my non-spoiler, since this video is actually getting a little long, but that's my non-spoiler cut. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Were you expecting anything from this? I mean, did you think it was going to be good? Do you think I'm just a horrible racist because I didn't love it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And just, you know, let me know what you think. Did you like it? Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? Do you want to see it? And where do you think I'm wrong? Or where do you think I'm right? That's going to be it for today, guys. And as always, thanks so much for watching. And have a great freaking day.